I see there are times two different settings that make up interesting comparison. One is making effort to accomplish something, which perhaps many of us are familiar that we do our best. But the second one is like going with the flow, effortless effort. So the first one is to use your brain and just capture the things that you remember and do it. But when you do that, we may forget about the other part. So we can spend lots of time thinking this, and doing this, and thinking this, and so forth. But the second idea is more important in terms of deep understanding of what's really important and how to address it. Because the first one is too much in the brain. Do this, do that, do this, do that. It's very shallow. The second one is taking time, not rushing, just with being calm and quiet mind. Then what important would pop up? It may take more time. That's why you want to be quiet. So like this morning, I had some idea that I wanted to capture, but before doing it, I start to work on something else because I planned that I should do something urgent that it's discovered this morning as a routine. But as I get involved in it, I forgot what's the other one, which was important. So in this case, you can say I was stupid. Just focus on the important things and the urgent things, or the things that is planned and routine, do it later, even though that's the easiest thing to do. When our minds start to actively function with the brain or the mind, the wavelength, the brain wavelength is more of a beta, very narrow, not compared to the alpha, which is more of a longer wavelength. And the shorter means in the brain or the mind, and the longer wave is you can penetrate through your whole existence, so to speak. Just like when you wake up, you're rested, you were not thinking much, so the ideas may pop up, like I shared yesterday about 2 dreams. And I was curious why those 2 dreams happened. So I spent time without getting rushed to do short-term things that is obvious to be done. Just delayed. And I found it quite interesting to know more about myself by taking this approach. Like right now, I'm spending more time to talk because my mind is not so much into the functioning of the brain with the beta. So I cannot talk, meaning that's not necessarily bad, because I'm more listening to my heart and body so that I don't lose that. That is the overall picture of what I think is important at this stage, because talking this and that, capturing this and that is okay. We can do that. But I don't want to lose the essence of what this thought is about. Make sense? It's like I often say, use the brain, but listen to your heart. There's a time to use the brain, but there's time to listen to your heart. Each of those approach has a different way of addressing, using our talent. So using brain is, in a way, much simpler and easier, and we can grab it and do it, and you can see the result quickly. So you feel like you're accomplishing something. And that's what the mind says. Accomplish something, do this, do that while you can. And okay, like in this case, I can talk more smoothly about how to use the brain and construct the sentence. But now I'm starting to slow down, because when I do that, I forget, or I don't wish to forget, key message that I should retain. So it takes time. Some people may be more smooth to transition, but in my case, like if I listen to heart, I just have to stop thinking. So that's counterintuitive to the mind, but for the sake of me living life, finding and addressing what's really important, that has to be like the foundation. And so social convention and how you communicate people, there may be a protocol of that, something you want to say smoothly and get to the point, especially in today's fast-moving world. Everybody's attention span is short, which is the point that lots of stuff goes in our brain. But as soon as we do that, the core state of being may be lost. Like when you wake up in the morning and you're very calm, some good ideas. But as soon as you jump into shower or eating and doing things, you switch. Many people think that being able to switch quickly and talk rapidly and address key point may be found attractive and interesting and appealing, because you can say something. But be careful. See what's beyond, not just what's in front and what to do. Let me just tell one story just popped up, which is Taichi Ono, who is known to be the father of Toyota production system, and I wrote a book, and I had the person-to-person meeting twice. And one of his talk, as I had time like 3-4 hours with him, including in the room and in the factory, was the case of him pointing that he was working, or actually being in the office and just being silent. At the time, he noticed there's a lady who seemed to be quiet, and on appearance, she wasn't working something. And her being busy. So when he noticed her almost like a pondering and quiet, this lady noticed Taichi Ono watching her, just paying glance, and she started to move quickly as if she forgot something to do. That was interesting conversation that I had with him. And he was good at reading people. So the point related to what I talked about is that people may be busy, but not having quiet time to make sure the foundation, what's important, is being addressed. So it's a balancing act. There's a moment for doing A, but there's a moment for doing B. A for mind, and B for listening to heart, and coming up and confirming what's the most important thing. Last night, I didn't have any dream. I had a clear mind, and I had some idea. But since I start to work on the immediate thing to do, I forgot that. And these things happen maybe at my age, at early age, but I think the human characteristics, the typical process are not that different from me and you and so forth. Okay, there may be people who are very quick all the time, and there may be people who are very quiet all the time. Which category you belong to, and each has its own pros and cons, and how to navigate. I have been talking about the middle way. This is one of those moments that we might want to think about, or ponder, or not think about, to make sense out of it. It's quiet morning. I'm at peace. No dream. Maybe the message was just be quiet and enjoy the moment. And make sure that I'm covering the basics of living life. Thank you.